The saying, wealth can easily distance a person's heart from God, is an important warning that Jesus mentioned many times in the Bible. This saying does not affirm that wealth is bad, but shows that wealth has great spiritual dangers. Here is a specific analysis of this content. 1. Self-sufficiency and the feeling of not needing God. When people become rich, they often fall into a state of self-sufficiency, believing that they can take care of everything themselves. Wealth can make people think that they no longer need God's help because money can buy comfort, security, social status, and even power. From there, the heart begins to distance itself from God, and faith also becomes cold. For example, in Revelation 3:17, the Lord rebukes the church in Laodicea. You say, I am rich and have become wealthy and need nothing, but you do not realize that you are wretched, pitiful, poor, blind, and naked. 2. Money easily becomes an idol in place of God. Jesus made it clear, no one can serve two masters. You cannot serve God and money. Matthew 6:24. Money is not just a material tool, it has the power to influence a person's spirituality and loyalty. When money becomes the top priority, when people sacrifice their time, energy, and even morality to pursue wealth, it has taken the place of God in their hearts. That is when money becomes an idol, and that person is far from God. The third temptation of wealth is selfishness and insensitivity to the suffering of others. The rich can easily live in a safe shell, with little contact with the needs and suffering of others, thus losing compassion. But God calls people to love, share, and live for others. If a person is rich but does not know how to use his money to do good, he is not living according to the spirit of the gospel. The parable of the rich man and Lazarus, Luke 16:19-31, shows that the rich man lived a comfortable life but did not care about the poor right at his doorstep. In the end, he was separated from God after his death. 4. Wealth is a test of faith. Wealth is not always a blessing. Sometimes it is a test that God allows to measure the human heart. The rich must face the question, am I willing to obey God even if it affects my wealth? That is why Jesus said, it is hard for the rich to enter the kingdom of God. Mark 10:23. Not because they cannot enter, but because their hearts are often attached to money, making it difficult for them to give up everything to follow him, like the rich man in Matthew 19:16-22. 5. Solution. Be faithful and use money for God. Although wealth can easily distance people from God, it is not inevitable. The rich can still be close to God if they recognize God as the source of all blessings. Use wealth to help others, live humbly and depend on God, not on money. Conclusion: wealth can easily distance people from God because it makes people self-confident, obsessed with material things, lose compassion, and forget the presence of God. However, if the rich know how to use their wealth wisely, humbly, and follow God's guidance, they can still live a life that pleases Him. The problem is not how much money you have, but where the money is in your heart.